Hello and welcome to another edition of NFL Power Rankings, the podcast presented by Energizer. I'm Dan Hansis. That A came from Colleen Wolf. Hey, Connie.
Hi. Hello.
Oh, no.
And welcome in.
Aunt Eleanor's here.
Oh, my God. I had an Aunt Eleanor.
There you go. Had.
Yeah. No longer with us. Thanks, Dan.
Shout out to Aunt Eleanor and all the grace she brought to us. All right. It is Divisional Round weekend. I'm sure she did.
It is.
Supercard.
Supercard weekend, baby.
Super Wild Card weekend is in the rear view. And I must say, Colleen, before we take a look at the big board for the first time here, and we have now knocked it down from 32 to 14.
Do you feel lighter?
I feel lighter. I feel like we're getting closer to the finish line, and I feel good about my rankings.
Yeah?
Let's take a look at the top 8, because what you'll notice here, Connie, is that, yes, I got the Niners locked at number 1.
Yep.
Feeling great about that. Was a little bit nervous at halftime against Seattle, but then
much closer than I thought it was going to be.
25 straight points, said Dan. You got it right, Tugboat, keeping them at number 1. The Bills and Bengals, I just gave them a little, hey, wake up, guys, bump down one spot.
That's
especially
fair.
The Bills. I almost put Cincinnati ahead of Buffalo. Didn't. Kansas City gets that, hey, we on a bye week, and look at our biggest rivals in the AFC struggling against backup quarterbacks bump.
That's
so they're
the
up
Andy
to 2.
Reid bump after the bye. They should call it the Reid.
So then you got the Eagles staying at 5, the Cowboys staying at 6, Giants up 4-7, and the Jaguars, after that incredible rally, hold at 8. And what I'm saying is you're not seeing a ton of movement there other than the Giants, and that's because I feel good about where I had the rankings going in, and I didn't see much in the slate of games that really made me change how I feel. Let's start with the Cowboys.
I was going to start there. I love that.
Because that would be the one where most people would be like, hey, why aren't they getting a bigger bump into the top 5? And I just wasn't ready to do that, Connie. As well as they played against Tampa, they did play arguably the worst team in the playoffs, certainly the only team with a losing record in the playoffs. But at the same time, yes, my eyes are open about the Cowboys potentially making noise in the divisional playoffs.
I was going to ask you if you second-guessed moving them or keeping them where they were after watching that game. Like, was there any point in the game where you were like, I'm getting closer?
Here's the thing, and I'll look at it from a conference standpoint. Obviously, the Niners are staying at 1. They deserve it. I already am kind of dinging your Eagles by virtue of just they're kind of off the grid right now. They got a banged-up quarterback, and that's part of my the reasoning. I have them down to 5 the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they'll prove you wrong this week, don't worry.
I'm sure they might.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I parked them at 5 for that reason, because I just felt it wouldn't be right to now all of a sudden say the Cowboys are a team that I like better than the Eagles. I certainly think the Cowboys are a team that if they had the Eagles this weekend, I'd be thinking, ooh, that's a coin flip. And guess what? That's why they're 5 and 6.
Yeah.
But
the Chiefs moved up, even though they were on a bye too. So it's just like not consistent.
It is consistent though. I'll tell you why. I believe outside of the Niners, I think there's a little gap right now.
Okay.
And then I think the AFC teams are better than the Eagles and Cowboys. So even though I wasn't thrilled with how the Bills and Bengals operated on Wild Card Weekend, it wasn't enough for me to then say, oh, I think the Cowboys are better than the Bills and Bengals, or the Eagles are better. I just gave them a little boom, and the Chiefs, a team that I respect in this time of year, they get a little benefit of the bump.
That's fair. It feels like
you gotta break
all
it in,
of these
get in a
teams
little bit.
Are flawed in one way or another. Now the Niners, they really,
what is the Niners' flaw? Tell me that.
I don't know, because what they're doing with Brock Purdy is really amazing, and they've won 11 straight games. They seem so well rounded. I guess, like, honestly, I don't know. I have no idea.
This would be the only thing I think someone that was doubting the Niners can say at this point.
Okay.
That what if Brock Purdy is playing not the Seattle Seahawks, but a big-time opponent? Does he have the same level of production or even close when the rubber meets the road And that's what happens in divisional round football, because he's the only guy I think is not proven in this at this point. I think the coaching staff's proven. I think many of the players on the roster, certainly the stars, have shown that they could step up this time of year. You could still put a little bit of a question mark over Purdy, but at the same time, be careful with that, because the guy is playing out of his mind.
Well, that's what I thought after watching that first half against the Seahawks, and he was missing some throws to open receivers. It was just a 1-point game at the half, and that was my question last week when we did this show, was what, with Brock Purdy coming into the playoffs, how will he play in the spotlight? And the second half, no problem. And Kyle Shanahan does such a good job of putting him in a position to succeed, using Christian McCaffrey, using Deebo Samuel to play run action and everything else that, you see with these young quarterbacks who are inexperienced, or kind of it helps to camouflage any type of potential problems in an offense, just keeps it moving and keeps that confidence up. And Kyle Shanahan does it better than anyone.
Yep, I agree with you. I think that as good as Purdy's been, I've been more impressed by the scheme and the talent. And then a ton of respect to the Mr. Relevant, his ability to do his job, basically. And you hear that in the quotes in and around the team. These guys are not talking about Brock Purdy as a godlike figure who's playing the quarterback position at a level they've never seen. I think it's more like, we respect that this kid is doing exactly what we need from him. And it might not be flashy, but it is super effective. And for the record, when Jimmy G, what did he do to himself? How did he hurt himself? It feels like so long ago now.
It was
his knee?
An ACL? No.
What was the injury he suffered?
I feel like
remember
this time of year, I'm like, all of the injuries.
It was a foot injury. He got tackled, and he had a foot injury. And I dropped the Niners after that happened from 2 down to 7. And after Purdy stepped in right away and started playing at a high level, and the offense got better, they've been at 2-2-1-1-1-1 now since in the 6 weeks with Purdy. Feeling good about where they are.
Yeah, that's right. Shanahan said that Jimmy G broke a few things in his left foot.
But remember when they were talking, when it seemed like the Niners season was over?
Yeah.
Maybe Jimmy G can come back, and maybe in the play. Jimmy G is not coming back. Even if he could come back, this is Purdy's offense now. I don't think there's any doubt.
I have some friends that are Niners fans, and I'm getting the same energy from them about Brock Purdy that I got from Eagles fans with Nick Foles on their run. There's a lot of shirts that say some similar types of mottos that were going around with Nick Foles.
Right.
So you can connect those dots.
Manhood related.
Maybe.
Perhaps. And
farm
he has
related?
Been farm related. You figure it out. You Google it. So we don't have to say anything else. So yeah, Chiefs at 2, Bills at 3. I just want to let's talk the Bills a little bit here in depth. Were you as alarmed as I was? Not just this game, but even going back the first post-Damar Hamlin game against the Patriots, where there were a lot of leaks and the special teams brilliance covered it up. And then in the first round of the playoffs, just kind of sloppy.
Yeah, the prop there. Their issues with taking care of the ball just continue, and you can't do that in the playoffs. They had 27 giveaways in the regular season. Only the Colts and the Texans had more than the Bills, and we just continue to see this theme. 2 first-half interceptions, and then Josh Allen gave up the scoop and score on the strip sack. So, better teams are going to make them pay for these turnovers, and a better team like the Bengals might do that. And I don't know if they are necessarily better, because we never got to see that game fully play out this year. We only saw 9 minutes of it before the Damar Hamlin incident, but this is the game that we've kind of all been waiting to see. And when that game started, it looked like the Bengals were going to win it.
Yeah, and the Bills, they've taken care of business this season. They're now they're 14-3 with the playoff win. And yet there have been stages in the year where you kind of are expecting them to be more dominant. Maybe they're not a dominant team. Maybe it's time for people like me and perhaps us to say, okay, despite them having this great season and being 2 wins away from the Super Bowl, it's not like we should be looking at them as some infallible entity. And Josh Allen is a perfect example of that he's just this tremendous, gifted quarterback that could beat you in so many ways, but he's always going to offer up gifts to the other team, and their success and failure will be dictated by that other team's ability to take advantage of those mistakes. Like the Dolphins converted Allen's 3 turnovers into 18 points. And the only reason the Bills didn't go home is because the Dolphins stink. Like that version of the Dolphins was not a true playoff team, so you were able to get the necessary stops on defense to move on. It won't play against the Bengals. It won't play. And I'll say this, and you can check out the Around the NFL podcast, which Connie is on every Tuesday.
Great listen, guys.
On Thursday, we'll have thank you, in-depth, thank yourself, in-depth preview on this matchup. But one of the things that jumps out to me, Bills, Bengals, 3-4 in the power rankings, is the Bengals offensive line is in shambles.
Yep.
Man, if Von Miller was still around, I would feel way better about the Bills taking control of the game at the line of scrimmage. We'll see how it goes from that standpoint.
Well, the Bengals, their offensive line is just self-destructing at the absolute worst possible time. This is what we saw with the Bengals all last season. They spent the offseason trying to prevent this from happening, and then they get to the playoffs, and now they're going to be down probably 3 starters. We don't really know yet about Alex Kappa, who hurt his ankle in Week 18, but Lyle Collins done for the year on Christmas Eve, the ACL. Jonah Williams, he was knocked out of the game.
Dislocated kneecap week to week.
That doesn't sound great.
Sounds painful.
Yeah. And
Tape it up and get him out there.
Like, Burrow was sacked a ton in that game. 4 times. It felt like more. He was constantly under pressure, and the receivers couldn't get separation. There was just not enough time for them to get down the field. So I don't think Joe Burrow threw a pass longer than 20 yards.
That's a problem. That's a major problem. The offensive line is something that could ruin their season. It didn't last year or the year before. Not only to ruin their season, Joe Burrow blew out his knee. So you always have to, on a hit, you always have to be concerned about how that can affect their entire operation. And yeah, I think I'm very, very fortunate. We're all fortunate because who needed another week of Lamar Jackson storylines around the Ravens? That the Ravens didn't get through that game and get to divisional round play. But at the same time, other than Ravens fans, they would have loved it.
Yeah.
They would have absolutely loved it. I don't know if Lamar Jackson would have even wanted it, but Ravens fans.
I don't know what he wants right now.
Exactly. Nobody knows. But at the same time, let's just be fair and credit to John Harbaugh and the Ravens, even in their state with their quarterback situation as unsettled as it is. They played better than Cincinnati on Sunday night. They had the Bengals' number, if not for Sam Hubbard's brilliance going – 17.5 miles per hour on his 98-yard fumble return. Big-time stuff there. So, I like the Bengals. I like the Bills. Obviously, I like the Niners. I want you to tell me, Connie, do I have the top 5 right?
I'm going
to put you on the spot here in real time. Connie's top 5. Here, I'm going to give you a pen
Niners,
and a card.
I would put Niners up top at 1.
All right, so I got that right. I feel like that's the most important one.
So the Chiefs, it's kind of like these next 3, Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, are tough.
Taking a walk in my shoes, a mile in my shoes.
I don't know why I'm doing this. This is your job. I'm just here to judge. But, I do like an exercise.
Yeah,
so I would probably put – this is so hard, though.
This is great.
I think that I might put the Bengals a touch above the Bills
All right
now.
Put them in at 2.
Do
you respect me now as a colleague?
Well, let's not go that far yet.
Right. Okay.
But maybe the Eagles need to be higher.
All right, you want the Eagles at 3?
Maybe we put the Eagles at 1.
Oh, you want the Eagles at 1?
I'm just kidding. I mean, Jalen Hurts, come on. Let's
go.
go.
I feel like we could be here
him.
another 6 hours before Colleen gets to her 5th team here.
Okay, I think I would go Niners, Chiefs, then Bengals, Bills, Eagles.
And I have Niners, Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Eagles.
So I would just switch Bengals and Bills. But it's like so close. You want that back?
Yeah, I'll take the pen too. Thank you. Anybody else in the top 8 you want to talk about? We should talk about the G-Men. They had the biggest jump in the power rankings, up 4 spots to number 7. And
we didn't want to believe in them all season
we didn't.
long.
And you know what? That's not a shame on us situation. Sometimes a team changes. Sometimes a team kind of coalesces and becomes something greater at the perfect time. And to the credit of Brian Daboll and the Giants, they were winning when they weren't a very good team. And that's what got them to the postseason and got them to the end of the season in playoff positioning. And then Connie in the last couple weeks of the regular season, and obviously against the Vikings in Wild Card Weekend, that is an actual now good team.
Go
ahead.
It almost sounds like a power move.
A power move. Power moves presented by Energizer.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. Did you see what Giants Twitter put out of Daniel Jones wearing all of the chains and said dimes on it, like a Kirk Cousins deal? I mean, it's great. I love petty Twitter.
Well, if you followed that at all, the Vikings had something very petty after barely winning on Christmas Eve, bragging that they beat the 2 New York teams and Buffalo. And it was like, all right, guys, let's check back into the playoffs and see how the Vikings are.
The 2 New York teams and Buffalo.
Yeah. Everybody knows. Everybody knows what I mean. Do I need to? The 2 northern New Jersey teams and the team from western New York, although the northern New Jersey teams go by the New York City moniker. Is that clear?
It's tough. I'm not going to lie. I don't love it. But I do love that Brian Daboll is succeeding in this way in his first season as a head coach in the NFL. It's been lovely to see. Now it's probably time for them to go home this week against the Eagles.
Because this is where Connie's coming from. Tell me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. You're hoping, obviously, that your Eagles get healthy here and beat the Giants. Mm-hmm. But now you're worried about the Cowboys, too, the other team that you hate, potentially shocking the world and beating San Francisco. And then all of a sudden you got the Cowboys on fire in the NFC title game. And I don't think you want anything to do. You don't want the NFC East around.
I don't.
Other than the Eagles. I get that.
But if the Eagles could be the ones to kill them off, then I am totally here for it.
But here's the thing.
Love it.
This is very Connie-centric.
Okay.
You're talking Eagles. The Giants deserve the focus here. You know why?
They do.
You know why? Because Daniel Jones has made the leap.
Oh, my God.
Daniel Jones is no longer a guy to be hidden in the offense. Daniel Jones is now the face of the offense with Saquon Barkley as the Robin to his Batman, which nobody saw coming. And you pair that with the Giants. Where are the Giants special? Okay, they are special at running back. When Danny Dimes is playing at this level, that's pretty special. And then that defensive line.
I know.
Dexter Lawrence, who absolutely ruined Minnesota's season. Kayvon Thibodeau, who's really made strides as a rookie. He's becoming a player. Leonard Williams is a former All-Pro. These are guys that could give your boy Jalen Hurts a lot of trouble, especially if Jalen Hurts is hurt.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I'm sweating this a lot. I don't like the fact that the NFC East is this talented right now. And Daniel Jones, he's playing as good as he's played all season. And same with Dak Prescott right now. And so Daniel Jones, he played last week without turning the ball over. And then they have guys like Isaiah Hodgins.
Yeah. They're like the no-name.
Isaiah Hodgins.
You got it.
Got there.
You got there. They have this no-name group of wide receivers. In fact, the most famous guy of their wide receiver group is Kenny Golladay, and he's like basically a multi-millionaire blocker at this point.
I know.
But these guys make plays week after week, and I don't know, can I tell you something?
What?
Little spoiler alert.
What?
I'm picking the Giants.
You are?
I am. I think.
Well, I can't wait to tell you you're wrong. I can't wait to see how this goes.
We could talk next week on the power rankings if I'm wrong. But here's the thing.
Okay.
Grew up right on the border of northern New Jersey, over on the other side in New York. And I've learned a thing or two, like following these Giants.
From the Coal Town.
In the Coal Town. Following these Giants playoff runs. They take on a certain feel, the games, how they win the games. And I knew they were going to win that Viking game, just the vibe of the game. And that's going to be a dogfight against the Eagles.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, Eli Manning in the building alone is going to give Philly the strength it needs to win.
I do love that Eli is fully expecting to get just verbally battered. All right, let's take a break.
Okay.
And we'll check in, with the teams where it didn't work out so well in Super Wild Card Weekend. We will be right back. The NFL Power Rankings, the podcast.
Welcome back to Power Rankings, presented by Energizer.
Still
Let's
going.
talk about the losers, teams 9 through 14. You know, they made it to the postseason, so that's great. They are winners in that regard, but their run ends now.
Are you going to give them participation trophies like 7-year-old soccer players?
Maybe they should. I mean, honestly, a lot of these teams put up a great fight. The Chargers, they completely imploded on themselves, which I didn't think it was going to happen again, but it did. So down 2 spots to 9.
And their offensive coordinator got
Yeah,
on Tuesday.
That's a lot. So I'm sorry, Chargers fans. It's rough out there. The Vikings, they stay the same at 10 after their loss. The Ravens, they go up 3 spots.
No, don't worry about the up 3 spots because we went from 32 to 14.
Okay.
So just disregard. This is the rest of the rest.
Okay, so Ravens 11, Bucks 12, Seahawks 13, and then Dolphins, the last team, the false start team, I like to call them.
The false start
they
team,
are at 14.
Yeah, the delay of game timeout team. Why don't we start with the Chargers because there's no reason we shouldn't be talking about them. And all due respect to the Jags, who we didn't hit in the top of the show, but the Jaguars deserve a ton of credit for what they did, the comeback that they mounted.
Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, their last 5 drives, starting late in the second quarter, was 4 touchdowns and the winning field goal. So they didn't have a huge window to mount that amazing comeback, and yet they did everything they had to do. And on the Chargers side, Chargers gonna Charger, and you hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate it. As a Jets fan, certain teams are snake bitten, it seems, and you would think that the players change, the coaches change, the management change, that the fan base will get a new fan experience, but the Bolts are just one of those teams where they just can't seem to shake the bad vibes.
I know. I mean, look, the Jags, Trevor Lawrence was a broken man to begin this game, and then he picked up the pieces, and it was almost like 2 minutes to go before the half. He was trying to get ahead of that halftime pep talk, like from Doug Peterson. He's like, all right, we're going to turn it around right now.
That was very important.
After the half, and completely snapped out of it. But my God, the way that the Chargers collapsed, I honestly, I could not believe this because watching this game, it felt like it was completely in the bag for the Chargers. I started making brownies at this point. I'm watching, but I'm starting to, like, my mind's starting to wander as I'm watching because it felt like this game was just so in hand. And then,
where are the brownies? Why didn't you bring them in?
I have basically almost finished all of them at this point.
What kind of brownies?
They're special.
What was in them?
Chocolate chips.
Could I give them to my children?
You could.
Okay, good.
That's why they're special.
Okay. I didn't know what kind of special brownies you were talking about.
I every special cookies, special brownies, anything I make, I just call it special.
Okay,
but Doug Peterson.
People listening know what
I just have to. Doug Peterson.
Yes.
He's just like. Round of applause for Doug Peterson.
Yeah, you got to give Doug the
I love
love.
his play calling.
You ran him out of town in Philly, but, you know.
I didn't want him to go.
You ran his ass out.
I'm a big fan of Doug Peterson. So him and his visor and
I think we all
his
are.
majestic hair.
Do you know I would love to have Doug's hair in 15
It's great
years.
when it was like blowing in the wind as he was like making
I
calls.
think we're all appreciative of the Doug Peterson situation just because everyone was bummed about the Urban Meyer fiasco. Not just because of like how kind of it was almost disrespectful how he treated a job and the responsibility that comes with that job, but it was just like a waste of everyone's talents and considerable talents. And in the case of Trevor Lawrence, a generational talent.
Yeah.
And to steer it back to the Chargers, it's like, man, there is a lot of debate about Justin Herbert and how great he is and who's better than him and who's he better than. But I kind of needed, if Justin Herbert's going to be spoken of as like his generation's Dan Marino, I kind of needed him to go win that game. Mm-hmm. And they didn't lose the game. I know Joe Lombardi, their offensive coordinator, got fired. They didn't lose the game because they got too conservative and just started handing the ball off a ton. Like Herbert had a lot of opportunities to kind of put that game away, and he couldn't do it. The play calling needs to be better. The whole scheme in Los Angeles needs to be better. But he takes a big part of the L in that game.
They couldn't run the ball even when they had a huge lead. Like the play calling in general was very suspect.
Quarterback coach Shane Day also was let go. Who else do we want to talk about? Let's talk about the Vikings.
Yes.
I mean, I got it. I got the Vikings right. I got to say.
Yeah.
I talked about it all year. I wasn't the only one that wasn't buying in on the Vikings, but I caught a lot of fire. on Twitter when at the end of the regular season I had non-playoff teams like the Lions, for example, ahead of them, and I just never bought it. And that's why heading into Wild Card Weekend, I had the Vikings and Giants right next to each other because you knew that was going to come right down to the end because you knew those teams, despite one team being 13-4 and the other 9-6-1, were basically at the same level. And it turned out the other team with the worst record was better. I feel like we did watch the better team did advance. And Vikings fans have to once again put up with not just losing, but like cruel irony type losses that you go 11-0 in the regular season in one-score games, and then immediately once the playoffs start, lose a one-score game. That's very on brand for the Vikings. Speaking of snake-bitten franchises,
It is. The Vikings, they have a lot of work to do in the offseason, but as a
on
whole,
one side of the ball,
on defense,
yeah.
exactly. Like they need to do a tremendous amount of fixing. I mean, I know that they switched schemes this year. There was a lot of different changes, but I think overall, on the whole, having a new head coach in there with Kevin O'Connell as his first season in Minnesota as the head coach, like this was a good year for them. They won the division. Obviously, it was a down year for the Packers, but they had the Lions in there. Now they have to deal with the Lions going forward as well. So I think it's positive. It will be moving in the right direction, but once they get the defense fixed, then this will be a formidable team. You have Justin Jefferson. He is an unbelievable talent. And, honestly, that's all you need.
I think it's helpful sometimes when you have off seasons like this where you know very specifically what needs to improve. I know Cincinnati had that type of situation after Burrow's rookie year, and they really went after – we need another playmaker, and we need to address the offensive line, and those things got a lot better quickly. I think you're going to see Minnesota be very aggressive. There are salary cap restraints, of course, but very aggressive in free agency to address the defense at multiple levels, and I think their draft, you'll see, it's one of those, always these teams like, well, they had 8 picks, and 7 of the 8 were defensive players. I think you're going to see that type of Vikings offseason, and it will be very logical. Some of these other teams, Connie, as we kind of wrap things up here, it's harder to say what their offseason looks like. The Ravens, obviously, we don't know what's going on with Lamar Jackson. They have this former MVP quarterback in his mid-20s. It should be a no-brainer. And yet, when Melissa Stark on Sunday Night Football comes on the air before kickoff, oh, well, that's different when she was talking to Johnny Harbaugh after the end of the first quarter. Abolished the end of first quarter interview TV
Got to
producers.
get rid of it.
No, but when Stark was on, it was a big Stark show. When Stark was on before kickoff, and she said that Lamar Jackson ruled himself out ahead of the playoffs.
Power move.
And that's a power move presented by, Energizer. And then chose not to travel with the team to the playoffs.
Yes, I know.
And I'm like, whoa, that is a major, major red flag in terms of where he stands with the team.
I was thinking the same thing because it's not like he was just recently hurt and this would be a problem for him to fly. I don't know the inner workings of everything, but you would think that he would be there with the team.
Remember last week when we talked about the teams that we thought could make a big jump on this show come August when we come back? And I said the Jets.
Yeah.
They had to get a quarterback first, which they were going to get. Where do you think the Jets would be in, there are a lot of off-brand power rankings.
Okay.
Like, if you added Lamar to that Jet offense and defense, like, a lot of people would have the Jets potentially as a top 10 team. That's what Lamar would bring to a new team. And the Ravens, if they do move him, and I don't think they would unless he makes it clear to them that there's no way I want to be with you anymore. He's going to make another team a lot better, and it'll be a ton of buzz around wherever he lands for that team.
Also, think about how everything changed for that organization when Lamar got there, like specifically for John Harbaugh.
Yes.
Like there were so many uncertainties, especially at the quarterback position, and John Harbaugh basically built the offense around him and then built himself extra years in the position. So I just feel like there should be some loyalty to the family.
All right, I like that.
You know?
Did you finish the movie yet? Did you finish Godfather yet?
No.
Christ, Colleen. In fact,
Soon.
before we say
I
goodbye,
did finish Glass Onion though.
I want to check that out.
Okay.
So the Ravens, indecision at quarterback. The
Yes.
Bucks, indecision at quarterback. The Seahawks, unclear where they are at quarterback, although it looks like Geno wants back and they want Geno. And the Dolphins, they said the Tua's coming back next year, but we don't know what Tua's future is.
A lot of questions.
Question marks at quarterback will put you lower in a rankings exercise in professional football. Facts.
That makes sense.
All right, we'll be back next week with the Conference Championship edition of Power Rankings. It's just going to get shorter and shorter, the list, which is less work for us, which is a good thing for you.
We love it.
Till next week, heed the call.
Later.